Hi everyone, this is Katarina for Ecstasy Crafts. Welcome back. We're going to be doing some cards today using our Shimmer Shakers. These are some samples that I've been working on. So I don't know if you can see that beautiful shimmer in the video. But today we're going to be using our clear stamps from Creative Expressions and our Shimmer Shakers to make these really beautiful cards. Here are the stamp sets that we're going to be using. So they come in 6 different floral patterns with a bunch of different flowers in the set, and you get everything you see here with the sentiments, and this one includes a butterfly, and this one has 4 sentiments and all these flower arrangements. So really the possibilities for making different cards is endless here, because you can mix and match and layer and do some masking and color them different colors. And so for today's example, we're going to be using this stamp set here, and I'm going to use this flower bundle right here. So I just wanted to give you quickly show you our Shimmer Shakers. So they come in little bottles like this, and there are 24 different colors to choose from, and this little bottle is going to last you forever. So buy all 24. I suggest. You're going to totally love them. All right, so let's get started here. So I have my paper towel. I heat embossed my stamp already using the detailed embossing powder, and I just heat set that. And I have from Cosmic Shimmer the water brushes, and usually these hold the water inside, but for this project I just want to control how much water I really use, so I'm just going to use them separate. I have a little dropper here with clear water, and I have a clean cup of water here to wash off my brushes between colors. Okay, so let's get started. I always really liked the look of watercolor, but it was never the best watercolorer. So this is like a little bit of a cheat. It's a really simple way to get into watercoloring. So for today's example, I'm going to use, this is the one here that I painted earlier. So I'm going to use the pink. Which one is this one? Lush Pink and Sparkle Snow. So if you can see on the video here, it's mostly pink, and then along the tips I added the snow there just to give it more shimmer. So now the really cool thing about these Shimmer Shakers is that they're a combination of, let's see, what is it? Dye, mica, and pigment powders. And so then when you add water to them, they really give this beautiful shine. So we're just going to go ahead and start here. And what I'm going to do is on my craft mat here, I'm going to open my Shimmy Shaker and put a couple of taps right on there. And I'll leave the white one off to the side just for now. I'm going to take a little bit of water. Now keep in mind, the more water you add, the less vibrant your color will be. And so the less water you add, the more vibrant your color will be. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water because I want this to be pretty intense color this time. So I'm just going to mix that up and just set that right there for now. And I also need to put a drop of clear water right here. All right, so what I'm going to do is start with my clean brush, not the one I mix the color with, but just the clean brush. And I'm going to get some water on there. I just want to separate that a little bit. So you just want a little bit of water, and here's the state where you're going to play with it. So you're going to take your clear water and paint in a petal of the flower. Now what you want here is you want your petal to be wet, but you don't want a huge puddle on there. So you want it to be wet. You see that? So I am using watercolor paper here because we are using watercolor. So then you take your paintbrush that's loaded with all that color, and then you'll just tap it onto that area where you want the most intense color to be. And then the water, you see that? The water is just going to just take that color and spread it. And if you find that you don't have enough water, you can always go back and add just a little bit more to help that spread that color towards the tip of your flower petal. So now I'm going to repeat that with all the petals. So I'm going to paint that in. You don't want too much water, but you want enough so that when you add that color in there, that it's going to help pull that color through the whole petal, and then it's like a natural watercolor effect. So you see that how the water is just pulling that color. So I'm going to repeat that again for the next petal, and I always have a paper towel here because you really don't want too much water on there. Otherwise, you're just going to have a big puddle of color. So again, tap that into the color, and I'm going to add that to my flower petal, and then just let that water work with it. And I find the longer you just leave it, the more you work with it, the more you mess around with it, the more it's not going to turn out. So if you want to just try to be patient, and then just let that water do all the work for you. So here I didn't think I had enough water in the tip there, so I just went back and added a little bit with my clean paintbrush. Oops. So now I'm going to do the next petal. And then again, I'm going to load this up and just tap where I want that most intense color to be. And really just let that water work with the shimmy shaker and pull that. So it's the same process that I did to color in the petals, just coloring it in, trying to make sure there's not too much water, but enough to help move it around, and then just tapping that color right back in there, right on top of that water, and letting it do its magic. And I'm just going to finish painting that up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that the pink is all dry, I'm going to go back in with the sparkly snow, and I'm just going to add a little to my mat here, and a drop of water. And this one, I'm going to use a clean brush and just go right in with this sparkly snow here. And I'm just going to add that right into the tips of the flowers, kind of overlapping onto the pink. I'm just going to repeat that for all the little petals of each flower. So this is how you would go ahead and add, if you wanted to do a two-toned pink flower, then you would add the second tone of pink at this point, and I would water it down a little bit more than I am with this snowy one, just because it'll have more pigment in it. This one is just really adding it for the shine on the tip of the flowers. So you can go ahead and add your second color just like this. So if you wanted to paint your flower in the light purple and then add dark tips to your flower, then you can do it just like this. I would wait till the pink is dry, just so that there's not too much bleeding and blending, but if you can always try that, because that might just work out really nice too. And I'm going to go back in with my pink, and you see how there are some areas where the back of the flower is showing. I'm just going to go in there and paint that in with the darker of the pink. So that would be the back. Oops, see how that's bleeding right in there? I'm just going to tap that off. So there's a little bit up here too, a little bit back here. All right, like that. Also for the center of the flower, I'm going to go in with an intense color of this pink. Oh, well, it's just as intense as the center of the flower. Just want to cover that up so it's not white. Okay, so now we're all done with the coloring of it. Now we're going to quickly just do the background, and I'm going to show you how to do that. A little tip is Make sure you close these little flaps when you buy these Shimmer Shakers. The one time I didn't close and I opened it up and there was powder all up in the lid and everything. I did end up using it, but it did make quite the mess. Okay, so now we're going to do the background, and I'm going to use the ice blue, which is a very, very light, beautiful color. A bunch of taps there onto my surface. And I'm going to take a clean brush, make sure that's nice and clean. And we're going to add a bunch of water to this one because we want this color to be really light just in the background. So took a lot of water to that. I'm just going to mix it all up really good. And now when you're painting in your background, I try to leave a little bit of a border. You don't want to touch any of that paint because it will bleed, believe it or not. It is watercolor, so as soon as you touch to that other color, it will bleed. And I mean, I did do that on a couple of my cards, and it's okay because they are handmade, you know, they're not bought in the store and stuff like that. So hopefully people would understand and appreciate that. But if you're picky and you don't like that, just be a little bit careful when you're painting this in. I do leave a little bit of a border, and I think it looks just fine. You don't need to paint right up to the flowers. Just a highlight of the sky, blue sky behind the flowers, right? So I'm just going to quickly go in and paint that up. And I just want to take the color all the way to the edge of the paper, and because we are using watercolor paper, it shouldn't buckle as bad as if you were just using regular cardstock. So I'm going to try to get inside these little areas as well to give a little illusion of the background as well, just to finish it off. You don't want to leave any white spots if you don't have to. Although on some of my samples I didn't even do a background at all, and I think they just turned out great. A little bit right here. And there we go. And that finishes off that card. Now I'm just going to clean up my surface here. So that's kind of that card there that I just did, all nice and dry. And if you can see all that shimmer in there, can you see that? I hope you can see that a little bit. It's really nice. So I just want to show you the stamp sets again. This is the one that we used today, and it does come with all the flowers you see here in the sentiments. This one has a butterfly. I really like this one. It's the water lily one. Very nice with the dragonflies and things like that. So you see you have many choices for you. 6 different stamp sets to choose from, and 24 shimmy shakers. Each stamp set will come with pre-selected 3 colors, and if you choose that if you feel that you need another color, you can always purchase an additional shimmy shaker, and that'll be at 25% off. So if I was you, I would, you know, stock up on these. You're going to really love this technique, and just imagine all the other flower stamp sets you already have at home that you can try this technique with. All right, well, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we also are on Pinterest and Twitter, so follow us there. We're also going to be doing some live classes through Ecstasy Crafts, so make sure to go to our website and sign up for our newsletter so you don't miss out on our new and exciting online live classes. Thanks again for watching.